What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Higgins and welcome to part 2. Today we're going to talk about posing. Let's get into it.
AKA no alias.
How's it going, everybody? I am back again with another video, and just to keep you guys updated, I update my YouTube every 2 weeks instead of one. I am a very busy man, not really in the conventional sense, but more so my job ties me up and keeps me very, very busy. But yeah, and I got some good news too. I am gonna be a father. I have a baby on the way, and it is so exciting, and I'm really excited to become a dad and to handle all those things. But with all of that out of the way, I just wanted to talk about this piece right now. The Alita movie is going to be coming out pretty soon, and this piece that I'm doing right now is Alita herself jumping up into the air, leaving a mist of dust. I really wanted it to be stylized, but for the most part I was trying to get this pose down, and this pose was really complicated for me. I have as an artist, I personally have a problem with anatomy, trying to get everything working the way that it does and make it look natural and stuff like that. So I keep on going back and forth in my mind about how to get the position right, and through this speed painting you're gonna see me go through trial and error and all that good stuff, but it's okay. Like it's always okay to go through your trials and your tribulations when it comes to getting a pose down or getting something right. As you can see, like I'm readjusting the arm right now, and just trying to get it in a good pose, and then I'm trying to make sure that her breast are stretched a certain way, so it's not looking like you have full breast and the muscle anatomy is not moving. So I'm trying to find a position for all of that right now. And I remember thinking while I was doing this piece, like, how can I make a composition that's kind of striking but at the same time not too taxing, because it took me a long time to get this pose down, and that was like the main part of it. And halfway through it I didn't like it. I wanted to give up on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like scrap this and do another video. It'll probably take me a little longer to get the video out, but hey, like I wanted to get something good, and then I was like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to go full steam, and I'm gonna work it out, and I'm gonna figure it out. And I feel like that's been a really big thing in my mind lately. Is should I give up on pieces that I start, or should I just go through them and let them be what they're gonna become? I remember listening to a Jake Parker video of him saying done but not perfect, you know, and I kept thinking that through this, because I kept reworking the face. Like, the face was really giving me problems because I wanted to make her like very determined, not so much angry, but very determined, and that facial expression was giving me trouble. And I think my biggest downfall was I didn't use reference. Like I tried to get everything from my head, and it just wasn't working for me. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use reference, and I'm gonna look at the stuff that I feel I'm not doing too well on. So I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna use reference and I'm gonna do it. So what I did was I stopped working on the face and I went somewhere else. I started working on these boots, and I was like, damn, these boots aren't working. They look like cartoon boots, whatever cartoon boots look like. But yeah, they look like crap boots. So I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna reference every single thing from now on. I'm gonna like reference beautiful faces. I'm gonna reference angry faces. I'm gonna I'm gonna reference a bunch of different things. And as you can see, I changed that leg because I was like, that leg doesn't make sense. So I'm like going through Pinterest, which is a very, very good tool for anatomy. So I'm like taking that foot in and aligning that leg and saying, okay, this leg goes that way. As you saw, like there was an arrow. I'm adjusting the tilt of the foot. I'm reworking that boot again, and that boot's just giving me, the boots in general just gave me legit problems. I was like, this is getting to a degree where it's like, come on, it's killing me. It's killing me to get these freaking boots right. So this knife has I stopped working on the boots and I went back to the face, as you can see. So I'm like jumping around a lot, and it's okay to like work out your piece. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. You know, I'm sure in a lot of different respects they want you to finish in a timely manner. They don't want you spending like 8 hours on line art, and that's what I spent on this. I spent like 8 hours on this line art because and not more so 8 hours, because I did take breaks in between and I just let the video run and stuff like that. So I say all in all, I probably took about a good like 6.5, 7 hours on just line art trying to figure out this pose, because I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna get this right, and I'm gonna make sure that the anatomy is right on it, and I'm gonna make sure that the leg is doing what it needs to do. And as you see, I'm reworking that leg again. But this time I had reference, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The foot doesn't go up. Like, as you can see, that foot was way further than it needed to be. So when I checked my reference and I checked my anatomy, it started coming together a little more. And I just did the boot, and I referenced the boot, and look how better the boots came out. I referenced Timberlands, and it came out leagues better than what I was doing, because in my mind, a boot was like a cylindrical thing, you know, but it has shape and it has weight to it. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? And for this boot in particular, I referenced my own boot because I couldn't get the angle down, because I was like, how does this angle work? So I drew the feet and stuff like that, and I drew the toes, and I was like, wait, that's gonna work like this. So I pulled up my own boots. I went in my room and I got some boots, and I was like, okay, at this angle, how would that boot be shaped? And I got it down, and I was like, this turned out pretty well. This turned out pretty well because I'm referencing. I popped the head down, made it a little smaller, reworked those boots on the heel of it, took a little break, and then I came back and I reworked the back of that boot, and then I said, screw it, I erased the whole face. I was watching another video with Scotty Young in it, and Scotty Young was saying, if you don't like it, scrap it. Like, if you don't like your work, erase the whole damn thing and start over. You know, don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to just scrap it and say, this is not working. You know, and that's like what I took on this, and the face came out a lot better than it was coming out, and I reworked it, and I was like, yeah, I like that face. She's determined, but at the same time, she's beautiful, you know what I mean? So like I reworked the hair because the hair was too long. I reworked that ear because the ear wouldn't be above the eyebrows. So it's just like getting that anatomy structured and stuff like that. So you can see I like redid the ear, redid the hair, tilted the face up a little bit, redid that neck, I pulled it down. I pulled the head down as if she's staring at somebody. I reworked that arm again, and I'm like, you know what? Like, this is how it has to be. Like, turn the fist in, clinch it, make sure that everything is being cohesive with the energy of the piece. And I tried to keep the energy in there from the sketches, and I just told myself I can't be afraid to rework a pose, or I can't be afraid to make sure everything is cohesive. And like, looking at how this turned out, I really loved it. I loved all the stuff that went into it. I loved all the details that went into it, and I loved the time that I spent on it, and working at my own pace and trying to draw something I've never drawn before. And the freaking 80 hours that I spent on this line work, you know, I learned a lot, and that's the key, guys. Like, the key is to learn. The key is to push yourself and make yourself better, so that in the future you can look back at your past self and be like, man, I wouldn't have struggled 8 hours on that. I would have did this in like 2 hours, you know. And there's a lot of artists out there that can do this in 2 hours. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of artists like, man, he struggled on that. That's crazy. But the truth is, I'm not here to aggrandize myself and say, well, I'm a great artist and it doesn't take me any time to do things. I just do them. You're like, no, I'm an artist that struggles through certain things, and getting these poses down is sometimes difficult for me to do. And sometimes it's difficult for me to just ascertain an understanding of how anatomy bends and how it twists and stuff like that, and wrap my mind around the forms and the figures, and that's something I struggle with. I struggle with getting anatomy to look natural while it's doing whatever it's doing, you know. So it's just toward the end of my line art, I said, screw it, I'm gonna have fun. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about any of this. I'm just gonna draw and be like that kid when I didn't think about getting a job, and I didn't think about like, oh, I need to become a working artist. I was like, you know what, screw that mentality. I'm just gonna be a kid again and have fun drawing and teach myself in the process, and make sure that art is fun, instead of worrying about, oh man, would a director like this? Would they make me scrap this? Would they make me do it all over again? And I'm pretty sure they will. I'm pretty sure I'll draw like 80 different pieces and only one of them they'll like, you know what I mean? But that's what I want to do. I want to become a concept artist, and I'm ready for that type of criticism, to where they're like, yeah, I don't like it, you know? And because before I would have been like, oh, you don't like it? Well, screw you, buddy. But ultimately, it's not personal. They're just trying to get the best. They're just trying to get the best out of your artwork. This has been Justin, and I will be seeing you guys later.